Kyiv streets became the stage for a shocking act last week. Colonel Ivan Voronich, a senior Ukrainian intelligence officer, was assassinated in broad daylight. Surveillance footage captured the calculated killing, which authorities quickly attributed to foreign agents, likely Russian operatives, underscoring the ever-present dangers of the ongoing conflict. Voronich was a key figure in Ukraine's security service, deeply involved in covert operations against Russian forces, including the bold incursion into Russia's Kursk region in 2024. His murder was a strategic blow, intended to disrupt Ukraine's intelligence efforts and intimidate its operatives. The killers used a pistol with a suppressor, retrieved from a dead drop, classic hallmarks of a state-sponsored hit. The message was clear. The shadow war between intelligence services is escalating, and even Kyiv's heart is not immune. The SBU responded with a rapid, all-out counterintelligence operation, determined to bring the assassins to justice and restore public confidence. Within hours, specialized teams were mobilized across the country, working around the clock to gather intelligence and coordinate their efforts. The sense of urgency was palpable, as every minute counted in the race to apprehend the perpetrators. Investigators used advanced digital forensics and painstakingly reviewed hours of surveillance footage to track the suspects, a man and a woman soon identified as Russian FSB agents. Their movements were traced through a web of digital footprints, phone records, and security camera feeds, revealing a carefully orchestrated plot. This discovery shifted the case from a murder investigation to a direct confrontation with Russian intelligence, escalating the stakes and drawing international attention to Ukraine's fight against foreign subversion. The SBU's covert surveillance led them to the suspect's hideout, setting the stage for a high-stakes operation that would test the resolve and skill of Ukraine's security forces. The speed and precision of the SBU's response sent a powerful message. Ukraine's security services remain vigilant and capable, even under immense wartime pressure. Their ability to adapt and act decisively in the face of danger became a symbol of national resilience. The successful manhunt boosted morale among the ranks and reassured the public that justice would prevail, even in the most challenging circumstances. It also served as a stark warning to hostile operatives that Ukraine would respond with equal force and unwavering determination to any threat against its sovereignty. The operation's next phase, a direct confrontation with the enemy agents, would demand even greater courage and coordination from the SBU. The stakes had never been higher, and the outcome would shape the nation's security for years to come. On July 13th, SBU Special Forces raided the suspected hideout in Kyiv, aiming to capture the Russian agents alive. The agents, cornered and desperate, opened fire, sparking a brief but deadly firefight. Both suspects were killed in the exchange, ending the immediate threat but closing the door on valuable intelligence. The SBU released footage of the operation, displaying the agents' bodies and seized weapons, evidence for both domestic reassurance and international credibility. The operation was a tactical victory, dismantling an active enemy cell and sending a clear warning to Moscow. It also highlighted the brutal reality of this shadow war. Capture or death are often the only outcomes for agents caught behind enemy lines. The clandestine conflict in Ukraine's capital had just claimed 2 more lives. The assassination and shootout are just the latest episodes in a relentless and escalating shadow war. Since 2014, Ukraine's SBU has transformed into a formidable force, launching daring sabotage missions and drone strikes deep into Russian territory. Russia's FSB and GRU retaliate with cyber attacks, targeted assassinations, and networks of collaborators aiming to destabilize Ukraine from within. The killing of Colonel Voronich fits the Russian playbook: decapitate and intimidate Ukraine's security apparatus at every opportunity. This intelligence war shapes the battlefield, with sabotage crippling supply lines and assassinations disrupting command structures. For both sides, victories and losses in the shadows can tip the balance in the open conflict, changing its course. The events in Kyiv are a stark reminder. The war is fought on every front, both visible and invisible. The Kyiv assassination unfolded as Russia unleashed a massive wave of missile and drone attacks across Ukraine. Over one weekend, hundreds of drones and dozens of cruise missiles targeted cities and infrastructure, aiming to terrorize civilians and overwhelm defenses. President Zelensky vowed retaliation, expanding Ukraine's drone strikes into Russian territory to bring the war home to Moscow. This tit-for-tat escalation has become a defining feature of the conflict, with both sides seeking to demoralize and disrupt each other. The link is clear. Assassinations and aerial attacks are part of a coordinated Russian strategy to pressure Ukraine on all fronts. Yet Ukraine's swift response, hunting down agents and striking back, shows a nation determined to resist. The war's intensity is only growing. Amid the escalating conflict in Eastern Europe, a notable shift is underway in Washington, one that is drawing attention from both allies and adversaries around the globe. President Trump, once known for his conciliatory tone toward Putin and his reluctance to criticize the Kremlin, has now adopted a far harsher stance. In recent statements, he has called the Russian leader's comments nonsense, marking a dramatic departure from his previous approach and signaling a new phase in U.S.-Russia relations. This rhetorical shift is matched by action. Trump's envoy is visiting Ukraine to reaffirm American support, and new talks with NATO allies are underway, signaling a renewed U.S. commitment to European security and a willingness to stand up to Russian aggression. The White House is now seriously considering supplying Ukraine with more advanced, longer-range weaponry, potentially a game-changer on the battlefield. These discussions include the possibility of sending sophisticated missile systems and additional military aid packages. For years, Western hesitation centered on fears of escalation, but analysts now argue that only robust and decisive support can force Putin to reconsider his strategy. The debate among experts is intensifying as the situation grows more urgent. Kyiv and European capitals welcome the tougher U.S. line, seeing it as a necessary and overdue response to Russian aggression. Many leaders hope this marks a turning point in the West's approach to the conflict. The world is watching closely to see if this new rhetoric and policy will translate into decisive action on the ground and whether it will alter the course of the conflict. The stakes for Ukraine and for global security are rising, as the outcome of these decisions could shape the future of international relations for years to come. The past week's events, an assassination attempt and a dramatic shootout in the heart of Kyiv, combined with a sudden shift in U.S. policy, signal a new, more dangerous phase in the war. Ukraine's intelligence victory demonstrates remarkable resolve and resourcefulness, but the threat from Russian networks remains ever present, lurking in the shadows and testing the nation's defenses at every turn. The country now faces a dual challenge: defending against relentless missile attacks that target cities and infrastructure, while simultaneously rooting out spies and saboteurs working to undermine Ukraine from within. The potential U.S. policy shift could tip the military balance in Ukraine's favor, but it also risks provoking further escalation with Moscow, raising the stakes for everyone involved. Decisions made in Washington will shape not only Ukraine's future, but also the security of Europe as a whole. The war is a brutal grind, fought both on the battlefield and in the shadows, and in the halls of power, where every decision can have far-reaching consequences. Every element is interconnected. A counterintelligence win in Kyiv, a missile strike on a city, or a new policy in Washington can shift the momentum of the conflict. Each action reverberates across borders and through alliances, shaping the course of the war. One thing is certain: Ukraine's courage and determination remain at the heart of its fight for survival, inspiring allies and defying the odds.